right, 5 minutes after 11 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in this Monday morning. Robin, you and I have been helping the folks at the Special Olympics of Marion County with a program that they're putting together. And the program involves, I think, about 15 different NFL players who are, I guess you would say, retired from the NFL.
Right.
And they live somewhere nearby or maybe within the 3-state region or something like that. And they're all going to get together to help out with this really wonderful cause for Special Olympics.
Yeah.
So in getting to know these guys, especially Don Nottingham from the Dolphins, you realize that this is a guy who had made a career as an athlete, a much established athlete. The human bowling ball of all people.
Yeah, I know. He's such a nice guy.
And now he's doing something really so. And I don't see it as contrary to what he did before, working now with the kids.
Yeah.
And he's also a businessman, you know.
Yeah.
And you and I have been, I don't know if accused is the right word, but we've been told that, you guys are too nice to make it a business. You give you give yourselves for free and then all that stuff, right? Mm-hmm. It's like, well, and people who are, cutthroat and they're very successful, and people who are giving and they're really not that successful. But can't these worlds somehow combine?
Yeah, you'd think they would.
Can't you take a nice person and teach them how to be a little bit of a business person, or a business person teach them how to be just a little bit nicer?
Yeah.
And if anybody has illustrated that to us, it's these sports guys that we've been getting to know, especially these football players the last couple of weeks. David Meltzer is on the phone. I'm looking forward to having him on the air with us in just a second. He is a legendary sports agent, so he's worked with a lot of these guys. He markets charitable events, so there's another connection. He served as a creative and technical consultant on a few movies like Jerry Maguire, Any Given Sunday, For the Love of the Game, and he's written a book that really kind of has a really good message. It's called Connected to Goodness, Manifest Everything You Desire in Business and Life. And let's say hello to David. David Meltzer. Good morning, David.
Good morning. How are you?
Pretty good. Thank you, first of all, for waiting through all of that. Where are you right now?
I am in Irvine, California.
Oh, well, thank you for getting up early, too, to be with us today.
Not early.
Did you change, or did the world change? What was there a change in you?
Absolutely a change in me. And if you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. So absolutely a change in me.
So in what way? What happened?
I grew up creating obstacles for myself to overcome and achieve things, and I started manifesting all these great challenges so that I could deem myself successful. And I made millions of dollars in my 20s and 30s, and in both technology, real estate, a variety of different fields. And as I evolved through all of those challenges, I lost my gratitude and empathy, and really self-entitled myself, as many athletes and celebrities do, which led me to work with Lee Steinberg and become CEO of the most famous sports agency in the world, and then spin off my own company with Warren Moon, the Hall of Fame quarterback, to really achieve the objective of making a lot of money, helping a lot of people, and having a lot of fun, which I think is at the core of what everyone dreams of.
Yeah, making money and doing something good at the same time.
Absolutely.
I mean, you could say that's true for somebody who invented something, a wonderful product, but then there's a lot of people who make a lot of money and it doesn't seem like they're helping anybody.
Mm-hmm.
That happens a lot, and it has to do with this gratitude and empathy. And I had to go through my own challenges and losses and evolution to determine what that distinction is, how to use our free will to connect and strengthen our connection to goodness to help others, and how do we manifest, or how do we attract economically what we desire without being in conflict with doing good or helping others. And I've created these 6 principles that help people in both a variety of different ways of staying clear, balanced, and focused, and confident that it's possible to be a good person and to make a lot of money.
So what's harder to do? Take the person who's cold-hearted and hell-bent on becoming a millionaire or a zillionaire, whatever. What's harder, to make that person a good to see the need of being good, or to take the person who's good and always being benevolent and living in a trailer or something, being a pauper. And getting the good person to figure out how to actually make money? Which is harder?
I think they're equal. They actually deal with the exact same problem, and that's their ego, because our ego edges goodness out of our life in a variety of ways. And what they both haven't learned is that giving and receiving are one. And you don't know what you have until you've given it away, and you also have to learn how to receive. So those people that are giving of themselves and like me, they have an energy that they don't understand receiving, and a lot of people just understand receiving and they don't understand giving. And so that ego, the need to be right, the need to be offended, the need to be separate, the need to be superior, that exists both in people that only want to do good as well as only want to make money. And so to understand the ego really would be the lesson that they both would need in order to evolve or transform into this benevolent businessman that you can become.
That really makes sense, too.
Did Michael Jordan make himself, or did a person like you make him the household entity?
Michael Jordan made himself, and I think that's clear from the time he was in the 10th grade when he was cut from his basketball team, and he made a vow to himself that he was going to do everything that it took to prove and to show how connected to goodness or how much light was in Michael Jordan. And his actions throughout his career have helped elevate his stature and image and brand for those to be attracted to him, to want to be like Mike.
So how do you know the genuine ones from the lip service ones? How do you know the person who's really got his heart in the right place as opposed to the person who's just saying the right things?
It's very difficult, nor is it really my issue. It's an individual accountability. Too many people live in blame, shame, and justification. In my own book, I talk about a period of time where everyone looked at me with this Midas touch. All my friends, family, the people I surrounded myself with, as well as the ideas that I surrounded myself with, were now the wrong people and the wrong ideas. But yet everyone saw me in a different brand and light and image, where I myself knew that I was lost. And it took myself to turn that around, to walk the walk. And so I don't think we have a responsibility or a requirement to understand who's walking the walk or talking the talk.
That's
we
true.
Really need to take accountability of ourselves.
Absolutely true. So then who we're speaking to are the people who they must have some kind of a conscience playing on themselves. They must be thinking to themselves, gosh, I'm really not doing enough. I mean, maybe Bill Gates gave away a lot of his money because of that. Who knows? Mm-hmm. I don't know.
Yeah, I deal a lot with three things: our conscious, our subconscious, and our unconscious. And I believe that our conscious thinks of these ideas. We imagine them using three of my principles: foundation, guidepost, and manifestation. Then we have the 12th man, the inspiration up there, that then tells us and inspires us to do something. And then and this is that dichotomy that you're talking about, these good versus businessmen, is that the people that are very good and give and imagine, they're great with those first three principles: their values, their character, their integrity, their guideposts, and then this manifestation idea. And then this 12th man that exists, whatever you want to define him as, God, Buddha, Jesus, Muhammad, whatever you want to define him, I call him the 12th man, being a Seahawks fan now with Warren. Is the other side, the other side of it is these principles of discipline, strategy, and understanding. And where it's funny is that these businessmen have great discipline, strategy and understanding, and these woo-woo dreamers have great foundation, manifestation, and guideposts. But they need to do both. They need to imagine things, get inspired, and then take pragmatic action like a businessman in order to make a lot of money, help a lot of people, and have a lot of fun.
It seems that some of the most successful people have this spiritualness about them. Are there some successful people that don't have it?
It depends on how you define success. I would absolutely say there's many financially successful people that do not have that spirituality. But I define my mission as being happy. And as I travel around the country right now, and thousands of kids and adults that I speak to, I take them out of the realm of who wants to be a sports agent, sports marketer, sports journalist, management trainer, professional athlete, and I pull them back into a bigger vision of who wants to be happy. And that is our mission, is to be happy. And so if you define success as happy, I would say that it's impossible not to be spiritual and then to be happy.
Speaking of the NFL players that are participating in this local event that we were talking about in the intro, the one thing that occurred to me is that none of these guys need to be sacrificing their time to do this. It really truly is something. I mean, first of all, their NFL careers are history. I mean, most of them have faded trading cards.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, and most of them are businessmen now. Most of them are either selling insurance or doing something else along the line of business. And yet they still allow the organization that they're helping in this case, which is Special Olympics, to capitalize on their fame. If they're once upon a time fame, but it's still fame. I mean, people still have their cards, their playing cards. I don't know. It just seems to me like it's purely a giving thing on their part.
It's amazing. I help market the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and these are the best of the best. These are guys whose cards are stuck in glass and plastic, so they're not fading, and they're the leaders of the heroes. And it's amazing to me that each and every one of these, what makes them so special is not their skills on the field. Not these skills, because those fade. In fact, they fade in some respects, but there's an old saying that Warren tells me, the older I get, the greater I was. And
I say the same thing.
And I love that. But what inspires me to help market these unbelievable 270 men is that each of them is a special person, that they didn't get into the Hall of Fame because they were an unbelievable athlete. In fact, there's tons of unbelievable athletes in the world, but what makes them special is this other side, this giving side, the combination of these principles that they have, from having a foundation to guidepost to manifestation, as well as extreme discipline, strategy, and understanding of what makes them happy. And that's really why they become Hall of Famers.
The book is called Connected to Goodness. I can't wait to hear the rest. We have to take a little break right now. David Meltzer is the author of the book, and we'll be right back. Manifest everything you desire in business and life. That's a pretty bold promise. We'll find out exactly what's in the book, because I think we've been all around the world with this discussion, but we haven't been fair to the book. So we'll be fair to the book when we come back. Connected to Goodness. We'll be right back after this. This is The Source, WOCA Ocala.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. Variable cloudiness today with some showers and thunderstorms, most widespread and heaviest in the afternoon, the high 84 to 88. Mostly cloudy tonight with a shower or thunderstorm, low 69 to 73. Clouds and some sun tomorrow with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm around, mainly in the afternoon, high 83 to 87. For Wednesday, periods of clouds and sun with a thunderstorm in the afternoon, the high 83 to 87. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm Joe Lundberg.
Hey, Matt, I know Sunrise Automotive does auto stuff, but I need some tires for my truck. Can you recommend someone?
Yes, I can. We do that.
No, I mean, I need them installed and balanced and all that.
Yep, we do that.
Well, my son needed his windows tinted.
Yep, we do that.
I need my seat replaced.
Yep, we do that too.
I need a new roof line, and a new spoiler, and a new trunk.
We can even do that too.
Okay, I get it. I suppose you can also do a radio show too, huh?
Well, as a matter of fact, join me every Monday at 10 for auto repair with personal care here on The Source.
Of course you do.
Good credits, bad credits. It's none of our business, because we're not an auto dealer. We're not a bank. We're not your mother. We're OcalaForSale.com, Marion County's marketplace for cars, trucks, and SUVs. We've got thousands of sellers standing by to take your call. No middleman. But hurry, don't walk, don't run. Just sit down and log on to OcalaForSale.com. Prices and inventory change daily. Offer does not include dealer upcharge, undercutting, rust-proofing, factory surcharge, or delivery fee. See website for details.
Hi, I'm Yvette, and I'm here to tell you a few things about ABC Frederick's Appliance. They sell not only new, but used guaranteed appliances. When you call ABC Frederick's Appliance, they will provide service on what they sell and any appliances that you own. ABC Frederick's Appliance is located in Bellevue, right over the railroad tracks. Call 352-629-5181. That's 352-629-5181. That's 352-629-5181. ABC Frederick's Appliance.
All right, 19 minutes after 11 11 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. David Meltzer is on the phone out in California. His book is called Connected to Goodness, Manifest Everything You Desire in Business and Life. And I don't think we've really talked about the book yet, so let's make sure we do that. David, thank you for being with us this morning, and thank you for waiting through the break. One of the things in the book that I wanted to ask you about, I think you're the second guest we've had that referenced the Sun Tzu's Art of War.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
Tell me about that. Who is Sun Tzu, and what is the Art of War?
An ancient philosopher who created strategies in order to succeed in war, and it really is more applicable to life and has been a philosophy book that's been taught. I actually was exposed to it in my sales background and had utilized it for years in how to overcome objections as well as challenges in sales, which I then was the inspiration for the book because I created this 5 to Thrive system, a system that stimulated interest, transitioned interest, shared a vision, managed and developed a vision, which created thrivation or the ability to thrive, which is energy, creating more energy. But in business, what it meant was that if I followed this process, I could inspire other people to tell people about what I was doing so I could exponentially grow my business. And I think, guys like Bill Gates and Steve Jobs have done that better than anyone else in our country.
Now, did they do it better, or did they just strike it rich with a lucky product or a lucky idea?
I don't believe in luck. I believe we all have luck. So no, they were more efficient, statistically successful. They understand. They both were very one's still alive, but they're both very spiritual people that understand the universe and how to manifest, which really means attract to, which is far more efficient than going out and getting it. And where the conflict comes or the misconception comes is that I don't want to sit at home high on my mom's couch trying to manifest or attract some Publishers Clearinghouse $1 million check to me or a lottery ticket. I work hard,
yeah.
But what I do now is I use all that energy and light and goodness that's in me, all that powerful energy, not to overcome things, but to use it to connect to what's good, to help others, to achieve things statistically, and to utilize my principles. And when I use my energy and free will to connect to what's good, everything comes to me rapidly and accurately.
You in your book, you are telling people that they should always move ahead no matter what obstacles they face. And some of those obstacles are their family and friends that want to protect them and say, you shouldn't be doing this, you should be doing that.
It's absolutely, I always tell people, look, separate yourself from the kind and bad opinions of others. And advice is like grab a handful of sand. And what we want to do is not create more anxiety, energy, and angst or anger when people give us advice, but use it like grabbing a whole beach full of sand. And what we do is when our parents and relatives and friends give us their good advice because they love and care about us, if it doesn't resonate or align with our foundation guidepost and manifestation, let it fall through your hand. But when someone gives you advice that is aligned with it, then put it into the palm and let that grain of sand sit there and let the others fall through, and just feel grateful that you have so many people that care so much about you. But you need to separate yourself from those opinions so that you can be yourself and really truly see your own light.
So who do you envision picking up the book? Like somebody's browsing through the bookstore, who's interested in this?
Right now we're having great experience with college and graduate kids who are looking to get into the sports industry, number one. And then two, many women from 18 to 50 really for some reason are attracted. We actually sold out of the book. Initially it was written just for internships.com as an addition to a training that I created, and then ended up with one of the best book agents in the world, Bill Gladstone, who is Eckhart Tolle's agent, etc. And then even further ended up with a 3-book deal selling out. And now this Saturday, we're launching in Barnes & Nobles and have a huge book launch with Warren Moon and I signing out here in California at the Barnes & Nobles.
How has some of the personalities of the players and their circumstances affected you personally because of the gentleman that hit and beat up his girlfriend, and now the other football player that had taken a branch and hit his 4-year-old son?
The morality issue that the NFL faces and the distinction for Roger Goodell from doing his job and protecting the shield and then understanding the conflictual nature of being put up on a pedestal as a moral standard for the NFL will create all of this conflict. These are young men who are in the midst of entitling themselves. They obviously have great anger and aggression that they have to deal with. And so these incidents that cannot be defended must be dealt with in a proactive way. So they need to have certain rules, responsibilities, training, education, as well as punishments that are set forth in a more clear, distinct manner, so it's not arbitrary and capricious on how we punish these young men who are evolving themselves and cannot be condemned for the mistakes of everyone. In fact, if you look at the Senate and the Congress of the United States, you will find that there's more crime and more abuse than in the NFL.
Yeah.
Isn't that an interesting thing to point out? We laugh at that because it's true.
Yeah.
I mean, we laugh at that because it's true. And here's another thing. When Johnny Carson would have a fling, I remember thinking this. Nobody seemed to care that he had a fling. But if a religious leader had a fling, oh my gosh, you have to take that guy away, you know?
Right.
Right.
So it's kind of like what you expect from who's doing what's being done, you know, that kind of thing.
It's amazing too, and even writing the book in my profession, because it's so competitive, backstabbing, and very conflictual business, and to take a higher stand and to be good, I have to always start with a caveat and tell people, look, this is what I'm trying to do. I don't know if I do it 30% of the time. I don't know if I do it 90% of the time, but I'll tell you this: I do it twice as much as I used to do it, and I'm reaping the rewards and gifts of being happy and manifesting everything I want rapidly and accurately. And I'm going to continue to strive to do my best and do all that. And in fact, Warren asked me, I have my signature of my emails always say unconditionally Dave. And Warren said, I like that unconditionally. Where'd you get that from, Dave? I said, well, I'd hate to have to put hypocritically.
Yeah, right. Oh, good point. Yeah. So what do you have now that you didn't have when you were at the top of your game?
I have more peace, love, and harmony in my life. And I have the ability to rapidly attract all the abundance, whether it be financial abundance, giving abundance, which is completely tied into my financial abundance, and then also just this fun or happiness that whatever I do, I enjoy. I wake up every morning grateful and empathetic. And empathy is not sympathy, right? I cannot feel bad enough to make you feel good. I cannot be poor enough to make you rich. I cannot be sick enough to make you healthy. Empathy is forgiveness, and there's only one person I need to forgive, and that's myself.
Good
because
points.
I'm not going to condemn others for things that I do myself. I forgive myself every day and try to do better.
Do you remember the comedian David Brenner? He just died earlier this year. Do you remember? Okay, I remember watching him on whatever show, and he had this a comedy bit, where he would say, my mother always told me you don't want to be successful because then you're not going to be happy.
Yeah.
And I would say, Mom, why would that happen? Why would I suddenly have a limousine and be sad?
And to that point, it's funny. I used to speak when I was CEO of, I brought the first convergence device to America, Samsung's first design phone in convergence, and I'd speak around the world at the Comdexes and the CESs and CTIAs, and I tell these kids, oh, you don't want the Ferraris and the Porsches and the house in Rancho Santa Fe like I have. And that's absolutely incorrect. What I want is for all of these kids, all of these people in the world, to have everything they desire quickly and accurately so they can learn from it, and they can learn the lesson that just because I have a limousine is not going to make me happy.
And that's one of the greatest human traits that a person can possibly have, is to really put others first, and then everything should follow.
Absolutely. You nailed it.
Well, David sent us a copy of his book. I'd like to give it away. It's called Connected to Goodness, Manifest Everything You Desire in Business and Life. Call me right now, and you can have the one copy that was sent to us. David Meltzer is the author. You have to look him up. David, do you have a website, and is the book on Amazon, etc.?
Yes, it's on Amazon, and we're launching in Barnes & Nobles this Saturday. And the website is connectedtogoodness.com.
Okay, that's easy enough. Connectedtogoodness.com. David, thank you so much for being on the air. Everything you said rang true, and I wish everybody would kind of come to that realization. Both those who need to make more money and those who need more peace or whatever, or love in their life.
Yeah.
I think so. Well, thank you for being on the air with us today, and come back with anything you do in the future.
I will absolutely do so, and I really appreciate you having me on. Thank you, and bless you both.
All right, you're welcome. We'll be right back.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. Variable cloudiness today with some showers and thunderstorms, most widespread and heaviest in the afternoon, the high 84 to 88.